So we are Hilton Home Run. I'm Jose, this is Lauren, that's Sara, and that's Corey. Homelessness is an epidemic in our society. Many people who are forced to leave their homes are just like you and me. They haven't been hit, yet they have been hit with extremely difficult times and are relegated to living out on the street as a last resort to their problem. I'm sure that many of you have seen a homeless person out on the street begging you for some food or spare change to keep them from starving that night. Some of you may have been like me, decided that giving them a few dollars was enough to keep your conscience clean and get them through the next day. For a long time, I thought I was fulfilling my obligation to society by completing this act of generosity. But what good does that do for them in the long run by just giving them some spare change that will just last them maybe a day? So I'm asking each of you to consider doing more, help their cause, because when you think they're looking for a handout, they're truly looking for a handout. So overall, homeless population has grown 11.5% from 2013 to 2014. The 2015 numbers aren't out yet, but this is just to show that it's been gradually increasing. It hasn't been decreasing at all. So that's obviously a problem. So under I-45 is what's called the tent city, aka the jungle, which is just about 50 or so tents, maybe more, where these people live. It's like a little society for them. There's obviously issues such as health hazards because of the sanitation issues, and there's a lot of criminality and drug issues. So this is a very dangerous place. It's been growing over the years. Although police sometimes break down the camps, they eventually come back and just make them again. So the city officials have been trying to work with nonprofits to find homes for these people, but most homeless shelters are already full. So there's really no place to put these people anymore. So this is just a visual kind of showing y'all where Tent City is. It's basically on 75, which then turned into 45. So that's just the zoomed out picture on the right, and the other one's a little bit closer up.
So our goal is to target temporary and episodically homeless people. So at any given time, only about 60% of the homeless people are what we call temporary or episodically homeless. So it's not a chronic problem. What happens is some kind of disaster or crisis forces them out of their home. It can be a fire or an eviction or maybe a tornado. And if they don't have a support system to fall back on, they can't reintegrate back into their community. It's pretty hard. So, next slide. What's currently happening is the problem's actually being made worse in Tent City. There's plans to put up no trespassing signs within the next 2 years. And when that happens, that means that there's going to be increased tickets for the homeless, and they're going to be arresting more homeless people, which, as we know, is only going to make problems worse. It's going to lead to a vicious cycle, because as these people are getting arrested and they're getting tickets, it's going to make it harder and harder for them to get back into their jobs and back into their community. This is not a permanent solution to the problem, but that's where we come in, and we believe we can help create a positive permanent solution by introducing our annual Hilton Home Run program, which is going to take place from May 1st to May 14th. It's an intensive 2-week program where we're going to take 50 tents from Tent City. We're going to take those people and put them into 50 separate hotel rooms that we're going to provide, and it's going to help them get back onto their feet. We're going to start this off with a 5K run, which is going to help spread awareness and fundraise about 80% of the program's cost.
So a little bit about what we can give back. This is a list of hotel brands that are owned by Hilton. And of these, we have designated 2 brands, the Hampton Inn and the Homewood Suites, to provide accommodations to the Dallas Tent City homeless, free of charge. Of these 2 brands, these 10 hotel locations will participate in the Hilton Home Run program. And these locations will provide access to the central downtown Dallas area, the Oak Cliff area, the Convention Center area downtown, North Dallas, South Dallas, East Dallas, and West Dallas. These areas were chosen to provide a wider variety of job opportunities and potential housing options, as well as to provide exposure to the participants so that they know multiple food banks and shelters should they ever need additional support at the end of the program. At each of these locations, one hallway of 5 standard hotel rooms will be designated to house the Tent City homeless during our 2-week program. It's pretty simple. So the residents of one tent will be relocated to one hotel room, and we're doing it this way so that families are kept together and so that strangers aren't forced into uncomfortable circumstances. And comfortable living arrangements are important to the success of our program, which provides the following to participants. A free 2-week stay will include food, toiletries, computer access and Wi-Fi, telephone access and laundry, just as our paying guests would have, but free of charge. Clothing donations will provide outfits that the homeless can wear during their job searches and their interviews, and also the beginnings of their jobs when they are hired. Shuttle transportation will be provided by our hotel shuttles, and we'll be taking them to job fairs, interviews, apartment complexes if they'd like to apply for housing in the area, banks, the DMV, etc. What we'll require of them is a general health screening on the first day of the program, and this will be done by a nurse practitioner at each of the locations. They will also have to abide by our security guidelines, and we will have designated hotel security staff at each of the participating hallways, just to ensure the safety of the participants and also the safety of our paying customers. We will also have 2 career counselors at each center. They'll be helping with resumes, job applications, and interview preparation, as well as 2 financial advisors who will be helping them explore affordable housing options and their personal finances. It'll be required of them to meet with a career counselor for an hour every day and a financial advisor for an hour every day, just to hold them accountable throughout the program. So something that's interesting about Tent City in Dallas is that its members typically gather in like-minded clusters, forming small communities with distinct characteristics. For example, the Spanish speakers will cluster in one area, and the young people will separate themselves from the older people. Couples and families have settled on the south side of the highway, whereas drug users, alcoholics, prostitutes, and violent criminals have settled on the north side of the highway. So knowing this and utilizing this information, rather than arbitrarily separating our participants, will allow us to tailor each program location to the groups that are being served there. And also this creates a support system within groups, and it also allows for an efficient distribution of the services, volunteers, and donations that we receive.
Okay, so like Lauren said, we have 10 hotels participating in our program. We are designating one hallway in each hotel, and each hallway has 5 rooms in it, so that's 50 rooms overall per cycle. And if we assume that one tent holds 1 to 4 people, we could be helping somewhere between 50 to 200 people. At the end of the program, these people are expected to get a job, find housing or shelters nearby, and build a connection or a sort of company around them and people around them, and additional support, so that it could be their family, it could be their friends. And the reason we're putting all of them in one hallway is so that we're not disturbing the rest of the work that's going on in the hotel, and they're able to get to know one another and build a community. Now, not only is clearing up Tent City helping the homeless, but it's also helping the community itself. How many of you guys have been to Tent City or seen it and know what it's like? Yeah, it is not a pretty place at all. I've been there personally myself, and I've seen how it is. You know, there's people in tents, some are living out of used trashed cars, there's a smell of urine and feces and used toilet paper everywhere. And even though there are porta potties located in that area, that's not a permanent solution, that's just a temporary fix. We don't want to just improve their lives, we want to change them for the better. Now, our kickoff event is a 5K run. Everyone likes 5K runs. It's a really good way to build the community together, get them together for a good cause. And it'll be located in Fair Park in Dallas. We're not experts at running 5Ks, so we hired Race Day Event Services, and they do a lot of 5Ks. They're local in Dallas and in Texas, excuse me. And they're in charge of the venue, the insurance, the security, the volunteers. volunteers, the prizes, everything you name it, they know how to do it. And our volunteers will be from local schools and community organizations, and all proceeds from our 5K will go to our Hilton Home Run program. Now here are just some details about our 5K. There's a $30 registration fee per runner, and it includes a t-shirt as well as water and snacks. We will have medical staff and security available on scene at all times. And we are expecting somewhere between 8,000 to 10,000 runners. And we hope to have a guest speaker. Hopefully that's Mike Rawling, the mayor of Dallas.
So we're going to talk about the budget now for the 2-week stay. We're going to start off with $85,000 to book the 50 hotel rooms for 14 nights. We also talked about the career counselors and financial advisors that we're planning on hiring. They're going to be working 5 days out of the week, Monday through Friday, for 2 weeks, and that's going to total up to $33,000 and $45,500 respectively. Also, we talked about doing the healthcare screening, so the nurse practitioners are going to amount to $5,000. So it seems like a good amount, but luckily we had calculated that the minimum amount that we're going to make from the 5K run profit is $140,000, which leaves us with about $28,500 left. And we're going to split the cost of that. We're going to provide $14,250, and we're asking a little bit more from you. We actually want to make it a 2-year proposal, right? So right now, as of January 2016, there's about 100 tents in Tent City. If we were to make this happen over 2 years, if we take out 50 tents each year, we can help eliminate the problem completely. And so in order to do that, we would double the cost of everything, and that would leave respective donations of $28,500 that we're asking from the Dallas Chamber of Commerce.
So with over 32 million people who live in poverty in the United States, the issue of homelessness only has a capacity to get worse unless we all help solve it together. So tonight as you go sleep in your comfy beds, I urge you to think about what it would be like to be sleeping on a cold metal bench with no blankets or pillows, being prone to any danger at any time. So although it may seem unlikely today, you too could be homeless one day. And so next time you see a homeless person, no longer choose to ignore them. Rather, give them the hand up that they truly desire. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yes.
How do you go about selecting the 50 tents?
We're going to be doing it by using the clusters. So we're going to start so that we can clear an area of the highway that can be closed off permanently. So instead of picking one cluster from the south side and one cluster from the north side, we're going to start at one end and make our way in one direction.
How are you going to ensure that those 50 people that you pick are not going to be like in the next program that you guys are going to do?
Because working with our career advisors and their financial advisors as well, they are going to be building their support system that way. So they'll have someone checking in on them. And before they can leave the program at the end of the 2 weeks, their housing plan for the future has to be approved by their advisor, and they have to have shown that they've contacted support outside of our program, so family, whether it be distant relatives or local. Yes.
Is there any way to make sure that people don't like take advantage of the system, like they move into Tent City just so, because they know that they can get a free hotel room and get all these extra accommodations?
We don't foresee that happening, but the program, they'll have to participate in the program. So if someone were to do that, they would be having to go through this intensive 2-week program where we are monitoring them and counseling them. So it's going to be a lot of work on the participants' part, and I just don't really see a benefit for someone who thinks they'll get a free hotel stay. They won't be spending too much time in the hotel because they'll be working.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a fun weekend stay. Like they're going to be doing work and working towards bettering their own lives.
Is there a follow-up that y'all have in place to make sure after the program they're still doing well?
Like I just said, we have the support system that they'll be building, and the advisors and counselors will be checking in with them afterwards. Yes.
What happens if the homeless people don't meet the expectations of the program? Do they get kicked out?
So for example, if our security guidelines are breached, they're no longer going to be welcome in our hotels. I think that's all the time we